My wife publicly humiliated me at a packed restaurant until a bold waitress defended me, exposed her cruelty, and pushed me to reclaim my worth forever. Humiliation is sitting in a packed restaurant while your wife tears you apart in front of strangers, and then watching a gorgeous waitress hand you her number right in front of her face. Let me back up. We were at Romano's, this upscale Italian place downtown. I'd just gotten a promotion at work, nothing huge, but enough to warrant celebrating. My wife suggested dinner out, which should have been my first red flag. She never suggests anything unless there's an angle. We're maybe 20 minutes into the meal when she starts. I saw David at the grocery store today. He just bought his third rental property. She's cutting her chicken with more force than necessary. Meanwhile, you're celebrating a promotion that probably pays what he makes in passive income. I set down my fork. We agreed to celebrate tonight. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I not allowed to have conversations anymore? Her voice rises just enough that the couple at the next table glances over. She notices and gets louder. Is talking about success now forbidden in this house? The restaurant is one of those places where sound carries. Open ceiling, hardwood floors, the works. Every word bounces around like a pinball. The family 3 tables over is trying not to stare. The elderly couple by the window has completely stopped eating. You want to know what success looks like? She's pointing her knife at me now. Success is not settling for scraps and calling it a feast. Success is not being content with mediocrity just because it's comfortable. I lean forward. What exactly are you trying to say? I'm saying I married a man with ambition. And somewhere along the way he decided average was good enough. She takes a sip of wine like she's punctuating a point. Look around you. Really look at the men in this restaurant. I don't look around. I'm looking at her, this woman I've shared a bed with for 6 years, dissecting me like a biology project. That man over there. She gestures toward a guy in an expensive suit. That's what success looks like. That's what drive looks like. That's what I thought I was getting when I said yes to your proposal. The waitress approaches our table. Mid-20s, blonde, confident walk. The kind of woman who knows she's attractive, but doesn't need to prove it. Her name tag says she's working here, but everything else about her says she's going places. How are we doing over here? She asks, looking directly at me, not my wife. My wife doesn't even acknowledge her. And don't get me started on how you dress. When's the last time you bought a suit that didn't come from a department store? The waitress is still standing there. She's heard everything. I can see it in her eyes, a mix of disbelief and something else. Anger, maybe. Actually, my wife continues, when's the last time you did anything that required real effort? Real sacrifice? Real... Excuse me. The waitress cuts her off, voice steady as a rock. She's looking at my wife now, and there's steel in her expression. Ma'am, you're disturbing other guests. My wife whips around. Excuse me? We're having a private conversation. Private? The waitress almost laughs. Lady, the kitchen staff can hear you complaining about your husband. Half the restaurant is uncomfortable. That's when something shifts. My wife realizes she's been performing for an audience, and the audience just called her out. Her face goes red, not from embarrassment but from rage. How dare you interrupt our dinner? Do you have any idea who you're talking to? The waitress doesn't flinch, someone who doesn't know how good she has it. Dead silence. Even the kitchen seems to stop clattering. Then the waitress does something that changes everything. She reaches into her apron, pulls out a pen, writes something on her order pad, tears off the page, and places it directly in front of me. A man who treats his wife to dinner at a nice restaurant, celebrates his achievements, and sits quietly while being torn down in public. She looks straight at me. That's not a man who lacks ambition. That's a man with class. She turns back to my wife. Maybe you should figure out the difference. My wife is speechless, literally speechless. Her mouth opens and closes like a fish. The waitress looks at me one last time. Your meal's on the house tonight, both of you. She pauses. But honestly, you deserve better than this. She walks away, leaving every eye in the restaurant on our table. The note in front of me has her number and a message. Call me when you remember what you're worth. My wife finally finds her voice. Are you going to let her disrespect me like that? I fold the note and put it in my pocket. Then I look at my wife. Really look at her, maybe for the first time in months. She didn't disrespect you, I say quietly. She just stopped pretending not to notice what you were doing to me. I stand up, walk to the front counter, and pay for our meal anyway. When I return, my wife is still sitting there, but something in her eyes has changed. She's realized that something in me has changed too. The drive home is silent, but for the first time in years, it's not the silence of defeat. It's the silence of a man who's finally heard enough. The explosion comes the moment we walk through the front door. What the hell was that? She slams her purse on the kitchen counter hard enough to make the fruit bowl jump. Did you see how that little waitress looked at me? Like I was some kind of monster. I hang up my jacket, taking my time. Maybe because you were acting like one. Acting like what? Her voice hits a pitch that could shatter windows. I was having a conversation with my husband about our future, about his lack of... You were humiliating me in front of strangers. I turn to face her. There's a difference. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. Oh, so now I'm the bad guy. Not the waitress who stuck her nose where it doesn't belong. Not the woman who handed her number to a married man. The waitress defended someone who was being attacked. I pull the note from my pocket and set it on the counter between us. Maybe you should ask yourself why a complete stranger felt the need to do that. She stares at the piece of paper like it's radioactive. You kept it. I kept it. You're not seriously thinking about calling her. I don't answer immediately. And that silence says everything. She can see the shift in my face, the moment her usual tactics stopped working. It's insane. She starts pacing around the kitchen island. One waitress makes a scene and suddenly you think you're some kind of victim. You think I'm the problem. When did I become someone you felt comfortable tearing apart in public? I ask. When did that become acceptable to you? I wasn't tearing you apart. I was motivating you. I was trying to push you to be better. By comparing me to other men. By announcing to a restaurant full of people that I'm not good enough for you. She stops pacing. That's not what I said. That's exactly what you said. I lean against the counter. You said you married a man with ambition and ended up with someone who settled for mediocrity. You said I dress poorly. You said I lack drive. You said all of this while pointing at other men as examples of what you really wanted. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it then? She opens her mouth, then closes it. For the first time in our marriage, she doesn't have a comeback ready. You know what the worst part is? I continue. This isn't the first time. Remember my birthday dinner last month? You spent the entire meal talking about how your friend's husband surprised her with a weekend in Napa. Remember the company picnic? You introduced me to your Kio workers by apologizing for my shirt. Those were just... What? Just little ways to let me know I'm not measuring up. Just small reminders that you're doing me a favor by staying married to me. She crosses her arms. Now you're being dramatic. Am I? Because tonight a woman who'd never met me before recognized that I deserved better treatment than what I was getting from my own wife. That hits home. I can see it in her face the moment she realizes someone else saw what she was doing and called it what it was. So what now? Her voice drops to almost a whisper. You're going to call her? You're going to throw away 6 years of marriage because some waitress flirted with you? She didn't flirt with me. She showed me respect. There's a difference. Respect. She practically spits the word. She disrespected our marriage. She disrespected me. No, she didn't. She treated me like a human being worth defending. That's something you haven't done in months. My wife sits down hard in one of the kitchen chairs. For a moment she looks smaller, vulnerable. But I've seen this before. This is the part where she flips the script and makes herself the victim. I can't believe you're making me out to be some kind of villain. Her eyes start to water. I love you. Everything I do because I want us to have a better life. Tearing me down in public is not love, it's control. I wasn't trying to control you. Then what were you trying to do? Silence. She can't answer because we both know the truth. She was establishing dominance, making sure I knew my place, making sure everyone else knew it too. The waitress was out of line, she finally says, switching tactics. You can't honestly tell me what she did was appropriate. What she did was recognize a situation that was wrong and speak up about it. That takes courage. Courage. My wife stands up again, anger returning. She's a waitress looking for a tip. She's looking to break up a marriage. Women like that. Women like what? Finish the sentence. She realizes she's about to say something she can't take back. Something that will prove my point better than any argument I could make. Forget it. She waves her hand dismissively. This whole conversation is ridiculous. You're acting like a child who got his feelings hurt. And you're acting like someone who can't admit when they're wrong. Wrong about what? About how you treat me. About what you think gives you the right to humiliate me whenever you feel like it. She stares at me for a long moment. So what happens now? I pick up the note from the counter and slide it back into my pocket. Now I decide whether I want to stay married to someone who thinks so little of me, or whether I want to find out what it feels like to be with someone who actually values me. I walk toward the stairs, leaving her standing in the kitchen. You wouldn't, she calls after me. I pause at the bottom of the staircase and look back at her. 6 months ago, you would have been right. But tonight, a stranger showed me more respect in 5 minutes than you've shown me in 5 months. That changes things. I go upstairs to the guest bedroom and close the door. 3 days pass before she tries to pretend nothing happened. I'm making coffee when she walks in, wearing the smile she uses when she wants something. The same smile that convinced me to let her redecorate the living room. The same one she wore when she talked me into that expensive handbag. Good morning, honey. She kisses my cheek like we're a sitcom couple. I was thinking we could go to that new brunch place this weekend. You know, the one with the outdoor seating. I pour my coffee and don't look at her. Maybe we could invite David and Lisa, she continues, that forced brightness still in her voice. It's been too long since we've done couple things. David, the guy with 3 rental properties. Her smile falters for half a second. You remember that? I remember everything from that night. She busies herself making her own coffee, but I can see the wheels turning. She knows I'm different, she just hasn't figured out how to handle it yet. Look, about the other night, she's using her reasonable voice now. I think we both said things we didn't mean. Maybe we should just put it behind us and move forward. I meant everything I said. Come on, don't be like this. Every couple has arguments. That's normal. What happened at Romano's wasn't an argument. It was you publicly humiliating me for sport. She sets her mug down harder than necessary. I wasn't trying to humiliate you. Then what were you trying to do? Same question I asked 3 nights ago. She still doesn't have an answer. I was frustrated about money, about our future, about feeling stuck. I took it out on you, and I'm sorry. The apology sounds rehearsed, like she practiced it in the mirror. Sorry for what, specifically? She blinks. For taking my frustration out on you. That's not what you're sorry for. That's just explaining why you did it. Her mask starts to slip. What do you want me to say? I want you to acknowledge what actually happened. I want you to admit that you tried to tear me down in front of strangers. I want you to recognize that you've been doing it for months. I haven't been... The company picnic, your birthday dinner, game night with the neighbors. Should I keep going? She crosses her arms. You're being oversensitive. There it is. I almost laugh. I call you out on your behavior, and suddenly I'm oversensitive. That's your go-to move, isn't it? Make me the problem. I'm not making you the problem. I'm trying to fix things. You're trying to go back to the way things were. That's different. She studies my face, looking for the man she married. The one who would have apologized by now for making her feel bad. The one who would have thrown away that waitress's number and begged forgiveness for even keeping it. What do you want from me? She asks. I want you to understand that the way you've been treating me is unacceptable. I want you to acknowledge that you don't get to tear me down just because you're having a bad day. I want you to recognize that I deserve better. Of course you deserve better. I never said you didn't. You didn't have to say it. You showed it every time you compared me to other men, every time you criticized me in public, every time you made me feel small. She's quiet for a long moment. So what happens now? Are we just going to keep having this conversation forever? That depends on you, on whether you can admit what you've been doing and change it, or whether you think I'm just going to go back to accepting it. She laughs bitterly. This is about that waitress, isn't it? She gets in your head for 5 minutes, and suddenly you think you're some kind of prize. This is about me finally recognizing my own worth. Your worth? Her voice rises. What exactly do you think you're worth? 6 months ago I wouldn't have had an answer, but now I do. I'm worth being treated with respect by my own wife. I'm worth having a partner who builds me up instead of tearing me down. I'm worth being with someone who doesn't use me as a punching bag when life gets frustrating. That's not what I do. That's exactly what you do. She slams her coffee mug on the counter. Fine. You want to know what I think? I think you're having a midlife crisis. I think you're looking for excuses to throw away our marriage because some young waitress made you feel special for 30 seconds. I'm looking for reasons to save our marriage, but you keep giving me reasons to leave it. The word surprises both of us. I hadn't planned to say it, but once it's out there, I realize it's true. Leave. Her voice gets small. You want to leave me? I want to be married to someone who actually likes me. If that's not you, then yes, I want to leave. She stares at me like I've grown a second head. This isn't how these conversations usually go. Usually I'd have apologized by now and we'd have moved on. She'd have gotten her way without having to change. You're serious? Dead serious. Because of one bad night at a restaurant. Because of 6 years of bad nights. The restaurant was just the first time someone else noticed. She turns and walks toward the living room, then stops. And if I don't change, if I can't be this perfect wife you suddenly need, then you'll be single and I'll… What? Find someone else? I finish the sentence for her. I'll find out what it's like to be with someone who actually values me. And honestly, that includes most of the people I meet these days. That hits home. She finally understands how low the bar has become. This isn't you, she says quietly. This isn't the man I married. You're right. The man you married would have sat there and taken it. The man you married would have apologized to you for embarrassing you by accepting another woman's kindness. The man you married would be begging your forgiveness right now. I finish my coffee and rinse the mug in the sink. That man is gone. And you killed him. I go back to Romano's on a Thursday night exactly 1 week later. Not because I'm looking for the waitress. Not to prove anything to my wife. I go back because I refuse to let her behavior dictate where I'm comfortable eating. The hostess seats me at a different table, but I can still see the spot where my marriage started falling apart. Where a stranger showed me what respect looked like, and where I finally found my voice again. I'm halfway through my meal when she appears. I didn't expect to see you back here, the waitress says, sliding into the seat across from me without being invited. Her shift is over, she's in jeans and a sweater now. Especially not alone. I like the food here. I'm not going to stop coming because of one bad night. She studies my face. How bad was it when you got home? Bad enough. She blamed me for everything, among other things. The waitress signals another server and orders a glass of wine. I probably shouldn't have gotten involved, I know that. But watching someone get torn down like that, I couldn't just stand there. Why not? Why? She tilts her head. Have you ever seen a dog get kicked by its owner? The dog doesn't fight back. It just takes it and keeps coming back, hoping next time will be different. Are you calling me a dog? I'm saying, I recognize the look, that expression of someone who's been beaten down so many times they forgot they have other options. And you thought you'd enlighten me? I thought I'd remind you that not everyone sees you the way she does. The server brings her wine. She takes a sip and looks at me over the rim. Did you call the number? No. Why not? Because I'm still married to someone who treats me like garbage. Marriage means something to me, even if it doesn't seem to mean much to her anymore. She nods slowly. Respect. I can understand that. But can I ask you something? Sure. What are you trying to save? The marriage you have now, or the marriage you wish you had? The question catches me off guard. I've been so focused on whether to leave or stay that I haven't considered what I'm actually fighting for. I keep thinking about the woman I married, I say finally. She wasn't always like this. She used to build me up. She used to be proud of me. What changed? I don't know. Maybe I got comfortable. Maybe I stopped trying as hard. I look at her. Or maybe she did. Maybe she stopped trying to earn my respect and started expecting it. Maybe she forgot marriage is supposed to be a partnership, not a hierarchy. You sound like you speak from experience. My parents. 30 years of marriage that looked exactly like what I saw the other night. My mom spent 3 decades tearing my dad down piece by piece until there was nothing left of the man she married. What happened to him? He died at 58. Heart attack. But honestly, I think he died years before that. I think she just finally killed what was left. The weight of her words settles between us. I don't want to be that man, I say. Then don't be. It's not that simple. Isn't it? She leans forward. Can I tell you what I saw that night? I saw a man celebrating an achievement, trying to share a nice moment with his wife, getting torn apart for sport. I saw someone who'd been conditioned to accept abuse as normal. It's not abuse. What would you call it? I don't have an answer. My name is Sarah, by the way. She extends her hand. I shake it. Nice to finally meet you, Sarah. So what happens now? I gave her an ultimatum. Change how she treats me or I leave. How's that going? She's pretending nothing happened. Acting like everything can go back to normal if she ignores it long enough. And you? I'm done pretending. I'm done accepting scraps and calling it love. I'm done being grateful for basic human decency. Sarah smiles. Good for you. Even if it means your marriage ends. Especially if it means your marriage ends. A marriage that requires you to accept disrespect isn't worth saving. We sit in comfortable silence while the restaurant winds down. The lighting is softer now, more intimate. Can I ask you something? I say. Shoot. Why did you really give me your number? She considers it. Because I could see you were a good man who'd forgotten what he was worth. And because I thought maybe if someone reminded you that better exists, you might have the courage to demand it. From your wife, or from whoever you choose to spend your life with. Another silence. She's not pushing, not inserting herself. She's just present. I should go, I say finally. But thank you. For that night. For tonight. For reminding me I don't have to accept being treated badly. You're welcome. I stand and pull out my wallet. Can I give you some advice? She asks. Sure. Whatever you decide about your marriage, decide based on who she is now. Not who she used to be, and definitely not who you hope she might become. I nod and leave cash on the table. Will I see you here again? She asks. Probably. I like the food. She smiles. Good. A man should eat where he's comfortable. A man should go where he's valued. Walking to my car, I realize something has shifted again. Not because of Sarah specifically, but because of what she represents. Proof that there are people who will treat me with respect without me having to beg for it. People who see value in me that my own wife seems to have forgotten exists. The drive home feels different this time. I'm not dreading confrontation or planning apology. I'm just going home to a woman who needs to decide whether she wants to be married to me or married to the idea of controlling me. Either way, I'll be fine. For the first time in years, I actually believe that. She's waiting when I walk through the door, arms crossed, face like stone, standing in the hallway like a bouncer. We need to talk. About where you've been, about who you've been with. I hang up my jacket, taking my time. I was at dinner, at Romano's. It's not a question, I know. With her, with Sarah. Yes. Her face goes white, then red. Sarah. You even know her name now. I know her name. How long has this been going on? I turn to face her fully. How long has what been going on? Don't play dumb. How long have you been sneaking around with that waitress? I had dinner. She joined me for conversation. That's it. She's shaking now, fury radiating off her. You think I'm stupid. You think I don't know what's happening. You're having an affair. You're throwing away 6 years for some cheap little... Stop. My voice cuts through hers like a blade. Stop right there. Stop insulting a woman who's shown me more respect in 2 conversations than you've shown me in 2 years. That stops her cold. More respect? The accusation dies in her throat. She's trying to break up our marriage. Our marriage was already broken. She just helped me see it. Because of one bad night. Because of 100 bad nights. Because of 1,000 small moments where you made me feel worthless. Because you turned into someone I don't recognize. She laughs bitterly. I turned into someone? Look at yourself, sneaking around with other women, threatening to leave because she had one bad evening. I've become a man who knows what he's worth. And what I'm worth is more than being your emotional punching bag. Emotional punching bag? Her voice hits that dangerous pitch again. I've given you everything. I've supported your career, built a home. You've spent months tearing me down in public. You've compared me to other men like I'm a disappointment you tolerate. You've made me apologize for existing. That's not true. Prove it. Name one time in the last 6 months you complimented me. One time you built me up instead of tearing me down. Silence. You can't, can you? I don't have to prove anything to you. Yes, you do. If you want to stay married to me, you absolutely do. She stares like I've sprouted horns. Since when do you make demands? Since I realized I deserve better. Better than the woman who stood by you for 6 years. Better than the woman who married you when you were nobody. There it is. I almost smile. There's what you really think of me. I was nobody when you married me. I'm nobody now. I should be grateful you settled. That's not what I meant. That's exactly what you meant. And you know what? You're right, I was nobody when you married me. But I'm not nobody anymore, and I sure as hell don't need to stay married to someone who thinks I am. So what? You're going to divorce me for that waitress? I'm going to divorce you for me. Sarah has nothing to do with it. Sarah. She says the name like it tastes bad. How convenient she appeared right when you needed her. How convenient she reminded me what respect feels like. How convenient she showed me I don't have to accept being treated like garbage. Her composure finally cracks completely. Fine. You want to know what I think? I think you're pathetic. A weak man having a breakdown because someone finally told you the truth about yourself. And what truth is that? That you're ordinary, that you're average, that you're exactly the kind of man who'd throw away a marriage for the first woman who paid attention to him. I nod slowly. There it is. That's who you really think I am. Yes. Then why did you marry me? She doesn't have an answer. And why would you want to stay married to someone you think so little of? Still no answer. I'll tell you why. Because you need someone to feel superior to. You need a victim. Get out. This is my house too. Get out. I'll pack a bag, but I'm not the one who should be leaving. You're the one who destroyed this marriage. 2 weeks later, she tries the tears. I'm at my brother's, staying in his spare room while I figure out my next move. She shows up unannounced, mascara running, holding a box of my favorite cookies. I made these for you, she says when I open the door. Can we talk? I step outside with her. I've been thinking about everything you said, about how I've been treating you. Maybe you're right. Maybe I have been too critical. I haven't been appreciating you enough. I've been awful to you and I'm sorry. She reaches for my hand. I don't pull away, but I don't respond either. I miss you. I miss us. I miss what we had. What did we have? We had love, a partnership, a future. We had you controlling me and me accepting it. The tears come harder. That's not fair. I made mistakes, but that doesn't erase everything good between us. What good? Name something good from the last year. Silence. You can't, can you? Because every memory of the last year involves you making me feel small. I can change. I want to change. Why now? Why not 6 months ago when I first told you your behavior was killing me? Because I didn't realize how serious you were. I didn't think you'd actually leave. So you only want to change because I called your bluff. No, because I love you. You love controlling me. There's a difference. She tries a different tactic. What about that waitress? Are you with her now? What does it matter? It matters because I need to know if I'm fighting for my marriage or if you've already moved on. You're fighting for the right to keep treating me badly without consequences. That ship has sailed. Her tears dry up fast. The mask slips. So that's it. You're just going to throw everything away. I'm walking away from someone who spent years convincing me I wasn't worth loving. I never said that. You didn't have to. You showed me every single day. She stands straighter. Fine. You want to play hardball? I'll play. Half of everything is mine. The house, the cars, the savings. Take it all. That throws her... What? Take everything. Keep the house, the cars, the money. I don't want any of it. You're being ridiculous. I'm being free. None of that stuff is worth staying in a marriage where I'm treated like a burden. You'll regret this. When you're living in a studio eating ramen, you'll remember what you had. What I had was a wife who made me feel worthless. I'd rather eat ramen alone than filet mignon with someone who hates me. I don't hate you. Then why did you spend so much energy trying to make me hate myself? She has no answer. I see Sarah sometimes, I continue. We have coffee, we talk. You know what's amazing? She never once makes me feel stupid for my opinions. She never compares me to other men. She never makes me apologize for taking up space. How nice for you. It is nice. It's what normal feels like. It's what respect feels like. So you are with her. I'm with myself. For the first time in years, I'm comfortable in my own skin. Whether that includes Sarah or someone else or no one at all, I'm done accepting less than I deserve. She stares at me. You've changed. Yes, I have. I don't like who you've become. I don't care. That hits harder than anything else I've said, the realization that her opinion no longer controls me. This conversation is over, I say. My lawyer will contact yours about the divorce papers. You already filed? She actually staggers back a step. Yesterday. You didn't even give me a chance to make things right. I gave you 6 years of chances. I'm done giving. I turn to go back inside. You'll never find anyone better than me, she calls after me. I pause at the door and look back one last time. I already have. I found myself. 3 months later, I'm at Romano's again. Different table, same great food. Sarah joins me after her shift, like she has most Thursday nights since I moved out. How was court today? She asks. Final. It's over. How do you feel? Free. She smiles and raises her wine glass. To new beginnings. To knowing what you're worth. We toast. And for the first time in years, I'm exactly where I want to be. With someone who actually wants me there. Who sees value in me instead of flaws to fix. I'm not the same man who sat in this restaurant 3 months ago getting torn apart by his wife. That man is gone. And good riddance. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.